Now, as some of you may have heard, this past weekend kicked off the activist response to COP21, the global climate summit in Paris, France. Across the globe, people took to the streets to demand something more than idle fucking chit-chat. And coming up next, check out some images from the Solidarity event here in DC. And for more information on upcoming events or events in your area, check out 350.org. Now, you may have heard that there wasn't a march in Paris on the 29th, which of course seems odd considering that Paris is where the climate talks are taking place. Well, due to the Paris attacks, authorities have decided that Liberté can suck it. Using the attacks on the 13th as an excuse, authorities have cracked down heavily on environmentalist activities, even going so far as to place several activists under house arrest, and banning any public demonstrations and rallies. French authorities claim that this has nothing to do with a crackdown on dissent, but it has everything to do with ensuring the safety of the people of Paris. Not least of all, those important dignitaries coming to sit around a big table and talk about how to make it look like they give a shit about climate change. Meanwhile, soccer matches, trade fairs, and Christmas markets scheduled to take place during the course of COP21 are untouched by these emergency measures. I mean, it'd be hard to imagine a Christmas market vendor being placed under house arrest. It'd be silly. But these environmentalists, they're fucking dangerous because they might, shift public opinion or make the dignitaries uncomfortable or look like a bunch of old crotchety dipshits out of touch with and out of reach from the realities of planetary destruction. And yet, despite the added hurdles of capitalist-sponsored fear, activists did not and are not backing down. On Sunday, activists, celebrities, and even an emissary from the Pope laid out hundreds and thousands of shoes to represent the canceled climate march and, as organizers remarked, to show the strong resolve of climate activists and the ability to send a clear, strong message even under such fakaked circumstances. Furthermore, you might not have heard about this, not everyone who had planned on marching in Paris on Sunday stayed home and sulked. In fact, about 10,000 people formed a human chain around Place de la République, complete with signs, banners, and inflatable art. They chanted, sang songs, and there was even a brass band in tow. According to activists on the ground, protesters gradually took over the road around Place de la République and then began to march down Avenue de la République, where a line of riot police stood ready to enforce the strict ban on freedoms down such an ironically named street. According to activists, a few gas grenades went off and the riot police pushed forwards, but the crowd remained steady, chanting and singing. While the crowd eventually headed back to the square to continue the event, Danny Shevers, an activist on the ground, remarked, "A few weeks ago, we were expecting hundreds of thousands of people to take part in a legal march in Paris today. This would have been a powerful show of strength from the climate movement. But arguably, what happened today was even more powerful. Thousands of people were willing to risk arrest and police violence in order to demand justice for those most affected by climate change. By seeking to silence political expression, the French government has only succeeded in making it louder." And between the events today in Paris, plus solidarity events from around the globe, I said today, but it was Sunday, plus solidarity events from around the globe, I eagerly await a continued crescendo. So in order to stay tuned on this unfolding climate summit, be sure to tune in right here. As you may have heard, I am headed to Paris to cover the activist response to COP21 with exclusive interviews and coverage on the ground. Due to these daily and ongoing events next week, there won't be a show on Wednesday the 9th. However, airing on Wednesday, December 16th, we will have a Best of Paris edition for you, but in the meantime, be sure to catch all of our reporting as it happens via the usual channels, Occupy.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And on that note, I bid you au revoir for now.